There's one little story you didn't tell I wanted to hear was you mentioned the Apache tears. Can you just tell us how that whole thing came about?
Well, there was this legend of the Apache tears where they say the Apaches were trapped up at the top of the Apache Leap with their families and all that, and the soldiers were closing in, and rather than surrender, they jumped over the cliff, and the female Indians came after the battle to bury their people, and they would cry, and supposedly their tears turned to stones. So they called them Apache tears. You know, of course, a legend. There was a battle in the Apache Leap with the cavalry, but I doubt the Indians jumped and all this like they say. But anyway, that worked out to be a pretty good legend, and that helped the Apache tear mining, the rock hounds, like I mentioned early, and the tourist trade, and the shipping of the Apache tears all over. But the legend helped start that part, and hopefully when we would drill and blast, which you had to do, we could sell the perlite. They didn't like the Apache tears in them anyway, so the tourists were doing us a favor, and we were making money at the same time while they'd go pick them. We'd charge them X amount for a can.
So my dad was the one that made up that legend, and it went worldwide big time. Yeah, because we used to sell, the Apache tears would sell the half-inch, inch, and a quarter, and inch and a quarter all over the world. It just depends on what the people ask for. Yeah, we partied many a times up there. My dad had them build it's called the Happy House, and all the holidays, or even without the holidays, we would go in there, and we had the barbecue grills up there, and we'd barbecue, and we had it all screened in, and the picnic tables inside, and it was really nice. And then so in the evening, you could be up at the Apache tears, and you could look down at Superior and see the lights, all of the lights. And then in the evening, the Apache Leap Mountain, every evening as of today, it will turn a different color, turn kind of like a Osborne looking, kind of a reddish looking. Yeah, and people would love to see the sunset there. And also right behind us was the picket post, and they used to love the scenery up there. Was awesome. And this is the rock shop. What my dad had, his name was Armando Vasquez, who worked for my dad off and on. He would do the drilling and the blasting, and him and Joe Lopez. And so they were able to put this wall up in front of the Apache tears and make the rock shop into Apache tears, and it really come out really nice. And up there we had the Ramada and the picnic tables. People could go up there, and at that time we'd charge them 50 cents for a gallon bucket, and we furnished them with the empty gallon bucket, and they could stay there all day long for 50 cents. It didn't, and then we had the polished jewelry, in the rock shop, so people would come in and buy the bolo ties, the neck, and the earrings and the bracelets and that. His name was Al Valdez. He used to be partners with my dad in the jukebox business here in Superior. So Al, after he retired, he'd go down to the plant here in Superior, the sand and gravel, and in the back he had the tumblers, and he would tumble. It'd take 30 days and 30 nights to polish up the Apache tier. The rock shop, well, Chub Binder took care of it for a long time, and so did Joel Lopez and different people that were retired that my dad hired to go up there and take care of the Apache tiers. And then we would go up there about probably sometimes 2 times a week. Chub would come down to the plant and say, "Hey, Alvo, can you take the loader up to the Apache tiers? People are complaining that there's hardly any tiers." I says, "Okay." So I'd take the loader up there and pick up a pile and spread it around, just like the way you would do when you're feeding the chickens, you know. You just spread it all around, and then people are happy as hell. They're just bending over and picking up the Apache tiers. And then I was helping them drill and blast, and we went out there and we blasted, and so they had me get on the old dozer. It was a D7 cable, and I'd get up there and I'd spread the Apache tiers and the perlite, which Apache tiers are in the perlite. It's called in the matrix. So I'd scatter them around, and I looked down there, and I seen something shining, and I know it's Apache tier, and I got down there, and so far as I know, I have found the biggest Apache tier that ever been found. There could be another one out there, but no one has been able to come up and show me now.
Yay!